In today's video, I'll be doing a breakdown of all the trades that I took, and I'll also be including any trades that I missed as well. Now, before we get started, all the trades are called out in my VIP signals group with a link in the description down below. Right, so coming over to my screen, you can see that currently I've got GJ up on the charts, and the first trade I'll be going over was taken on Tuesday, which was roughly around this point here when we saw the break of this sort of level. So if I draw this out nice and neatly, and then we can color coordinate it as well to make it white, we can see that I was looking for buys once I saw a nice push and break above this sort of resistance level, which is now acting as a level of support. I then dropped down to a lower time frame to zoom in on a bit of more detail, and as you can see, if we zoom back out, this is coinciding with structure towards the left hand side, and we can also see a tap and an immediate rejection off of that level before we see that ultimate push up. So ultimately what I spotted was the fact that price was failing to create a lower low. So on the 30-minute time frame, you can see we are trending downwards as such, and then at this point, this is where we would expect a further lower low to be created. However, we failed to create a low, which suggests that bearish pressure is running out, and we can see a switch in the trend on the 30-minute time frame. Once I saw this behavior, this is exactly where I dropped down to the 5-minute time frame, looking for precise entries. So if I zoom in, at this price action over here, I ended up taking my entry approximately at this point right over here around 120. So entries were taken at the close of this candle. Stops were placed below this low with a bit of breathing room, so no sort of manipulation happens. And then ultimately we was targeting these high points right over here for a nice 1 to 3.5 risk to reward, which ended up getting hit around 7 p.m. UK time. So this was a nice clean setup called out. And then the next setup was also taken on GBP JPY, which was then taken on a Friday. So as you can see, if we move on, we see price on the 4-hour time frame, although we're in a overall bullish trend, price has formed a double top and we've broken to the downside. So at this point over here, we are in a current substructure towards the downside, with this being our major level of supply. So at this point, I will currently only be looking for selling opportunities, and then on the 30-minute time frame is there again where I found a nice setup. So straight away we can see a nice fib play happening. If we take it from that high to this low point over here, we are respecting within this golden zone. So if I draw out from the 50% all the way to the 61.8%, we can see any price action within this region is our golden zone, and we can see we are holding it nice and firmly with multiple rejections, but a failure to see that follow through to the upside. So once I saw that, this is then again where I drop down to the 5-minute to look for nice precise entries. Now on the 5-minute, we can see overall we are trending in an uptrend, so we can draw out from this level of demand. However, we see price pushing down and failing to create a higher high point right over here. So we can then turn this to red to color coordinate it with the 5-minute time frame. So at this point, we see price is pushing up, gave us a nice retracement, failed to create a higher high, and we came down and held this level of demand. So at this point, we're just in a consolidating market, and we've again retested these highs. However, we've just got a bunch of consolidation and not a clean break above. At this point, we can then see a nice break of structure happening from this point right here. Once I saw this break of structure, ultimately it's the classic setup of a nice break and retest. We saw multiple wick rejections happening, and I entered at the close of this candle with my stops just above the high, and then I was targeting these lows ultimately for a nice 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio. So a clean trade taken on both pairs, on both setups, on GBP JPY. However, this week would have been a much more profitable week had we also caught the opportunity on gold. So on gold, we missed a nice setup which occurred right around this region, around the sub daily level at 2034. So this again was a nice fib play. As you can see, if we take it from the high to this low, we're respecting within this 61 to 50% level. And then on the 30-minute time frame is also another confluence which is added. So from this high point over here, if we draw out our supply zone, we can see price has tapped back into this multiple times and has held below this point. So as you can see, although we got a huge candle closing above, we immediately rejected and closed back below. So this is just a fake out, some sort of manipulation move happening to grab liquidity before we ultimately close back below. However, this was my main interest. Once we came back into this level and we rejected this multiple times, this is exactly where on the 5 minute I was looking for nice solid entries. So this is the same point on the 30-minute time frame we was talking about. And I ultimately wanted to take my entries at the close of this candle, which was right over here. However, the reason I ended up missing this trade, because if we place our stops above this high, and I was really targeting these lows at first, you can see the risk to reward doesn't make sense. It's only a 1-to-1 risk to reward. However, since on the 30-minute time frame, we can then expect a larger move, which I was unsure of since we was pretty volatile. I wanted to be in and out. If we was targeting the ultimate sub daily level right over here at 2009, this would have made more sense for me to take the trade for a nice 1-to-3 risk to reward. So this trade was ultimately missed due to the poor risk to reward setup I was getting for 1-to-1. However, in hindsight, when I look at it, this trade would have been worthwhile as we saw a huge push down into my sub daily level. However, we still ended the week up strong and nice and positive with those two clean setups called out on GJ, which were nice and profitable. So anyways, I hope you guys found this video informative. If you did, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.